Hello and welcome back to Seaside Garage. The paint has now cured on the rear axle parts for the Mehari project, and today I would like to put everything back together on the rear axle. I need to do a lot of cleaning. As you remember, I sandblasted these parts, painted them up, and I thought it would be a good idea to just leave the grease on the greasy parts and then clean it off afterwards. I think that was a mistake because it's going to make it a bit more difficult to clean it. Should have cleaned it up before, because then I could just vacuum clean off the dust, debris and all that. But you live, you learn. But I've noticed something. On the swing arms, my plan was to change the inner bearing because I had to get quite rough with those to get them off, so they won't be reusable. So I'm going to remove the inner race, which is not worn, by the way, but it had a rough time. But the outside one I was not going to change, but I think it even picks up on camera. It is not smooth. I can feel each and every needles in the bearings. They have been digging into the material, so that is no good. It's a bit of a shame because I had hoped to save at least a set of them, because they are not cheap bearings, but it would be so stupid not to do it. So I'm going to tap these out, clean the inside, and then fit new bearings. There we go. That's the inner bearing race. You can actually also see the wear marks on this one. I had a feeling that this Mehari had a really low mileage because the guy I bought it from thought that, and the odometer shows very little kilometers. But this tells a little bit of a different story, so I think there is some miles on this one. Not that it matters much, but it is worn, at least, in the bearings. There we go. So I'm just going to clean these out and also remove the bearings from the other one and then get you back. And then we should be ready to install the new bearings. So I'm getting ready to install the rear axle tube. What I have been doing beforehand is that I have filled up the inside of the chassis with really thin protection oil. I've done that by spraying it into all the holes and flipping it from side to side and on top and upside down and all that. So it should be sloshed around in there. I have decided not to do anything about the outside. The galvanized chassis is supposed to be really good protected, just like it is. Some even say that it could be compromised by having an insulation layer on it. I don't know if that's true. All I know is it's really good protected. I just like the idea of a pretty clean underside on this one. Maybe you could spray some rust protection everywhere if you want, but that will be up to the next owner, I think, because I won't be using it in the winter anyway. I will just keep it clean. But the inside has been sprayed with that thin oil because there is a possibility that the galvanizing has not reached into the gaps between the panels. So the oil could help with that. So I hope that. Firstly, I'm going to install these aluminum spacers. Better fit it the right way. And then a set of these, the balls through this locking plate. And I'm gonna grease up the threads to make it easier to take apart. But hopefully that will never have to be done. But it's just good practice. And then I'm going to torque them to 15 Newton meter. 50, not 15. I sometimes get those wrong. Now it's time to push in the new races for the new bearings. I'm going to use the old race as a guide to push it in. And try to push it in straight, of course. That's one side done. And the other side is done. On the inside bearing going against the axle, I need to fit the bearing now and the oil seal. On the other one, I can fit it when I put it on the axle. Before doing that, I'm going to pack it with grease. And by the way, this one came with this outer race. I kept track of them because I don't think it's a very good idea to swap them around. It's always a good idea to just keep what comes together. But I'm going to pack it with grease and force it into all the rollers and turn it a little bit to make sure that it's not dry in any position. I don't think this bearing is under a lot of stress actually, because there are two of these big bearings on a very light car. I'm actually surprised to see the old one being worn. In with the bearing and a oil seal. So I've filled up the inside with a lot of grease. Now I'm going to slide it on and then fit the bearing on the other side to avoid accidentally dropping it. And then fitting the other bearing. And then I have actually taken off that filled packing ring on this one because I will change that for a rubber ring because I got it now. So that will be renewed because I do think that moisture could get through that fill thing, but I don't know. And then a very nice viewer of the channel sent this piece to me to help me with the fitment, because this one fits this nut and then I can actually control it. And then I can actually put it on controlled instead of hammering it on like I took it off. So that's really nice. Thank you for that. And then I'm going to tighten up that slotted nut to 5 kgm by making a small contraption to do that. I hope it's capable of the force needed, because I don't have anything else to do this. But it's not a lot of force, so I think it could be okay. That's about there. And then I need to make sure that the hole for the split pin is visible. It seems to be actually, so that's nice. And then the oil seal. Like that. And then a new split pin. Like that. Then I'm going to go ahead and do the exact same on the other side and take you back in a second. Right here is the stop for the rear axle. There's supposed to be a little rubber thingy. This is the old one. I have bought a new one. I'm going to fit that, but unfortunately it's not the same length in the bolt. And on the old one, there was an aluminum spacer underneath it that will not be possible to fit because I cannot reach the thread. So what I'm going to do right now is just to fit this one without the spacer. The only difference that will make is that the rear axle will go a little bit lower, or the swing arm will go a little bit lower when the car is off the ground, down to here instead of here. I don't think that will matter much, but I don't know. And the Mehari is a very light vehicle, so it could actually almost be riding on the bump stop when it's not when no one is in the car. So maybe I will have to get another one with a bit longer bolt on it, or maybe shave a little bit off the aluminum spacer to make it just a little better. But right now I'm just going to fit this. This will at least protect the chassis from damage from the weight. I'm just going to turn this all the way around. And then fit the nut. It goes down like that. Everything is covered in grease after that bearing fitment. It's a bit annoying. Now let's try to fit this wonderful piece of engineering. The brake line. And believe it or not, there's actually a special tool for this, for the installation of this, that I don't have, and I refuse to get because it can't be that hard. Well, let's see. So it's actually through. I'm just going to use the ball to pull it a bit more. And yes, I know these are the old balls and they are rusty. I could clean them up. I actually forgot to buy new balls because I forgot about Citroën. It's a special thread, so it's just not a normal nut that you can throw in here, but it won't really matter much. So I think I will just live with this. And then let's fit a new one of these. Whoops, I spotted a problem actually. I must have bought the wrong brake lines for this. Not that it matters that much, but this one is supposed to lie in those recesses. And there's not room for that. Slightly puzzled about that because I'm pretty sure it's the same size on all cars. But what I can do is to drill out the spot welds on the old one and fit that one. Not spot welds, rivets, and then fit that one instead. So I'm ready to install the old part, but unfortunately I do not have any rivets that are the right size for this. I only have way too large ones and way too small ones, so I won't be able to finish up that part of the job today. So I'm just going to go ahead and install the rest of the brake wire, attach it right there, and then I think we are close to calling this a day. The brake flares on the 2CV and most Citroëns is not the normal one that you might know. It's this one. You can make them yourself, but you need some special tools. It is inside of here, and then it got a rubber out there. A bit special, but it is a Citroën after all. It's supposed to be a bit special. Oh, there's already one in there. So there's not enough room for two of them. Like that. And then I took a piece of rubber and cut it open, a rubber hose, to protect it, and then I can put it into this. These are normally broken off, and these will break off soon enough, so they are very often replaced with a strip. Does the same job, so it doesn't really matter. You could of course weld on a new tab, but it will work for now. Like that. So that is pretty much it for the rear axle. I'm just going to show you what I have done a bit closer in a second. I'm not all done though, because I still need to fit that bracket and the end caps, but I can't do that before I get some better right size rivets. So it will be for another day. But what I want to do now is an attempt and a question for you guys, because I would like this Mehari to be like new underneath, but on top of it all, I would like to just use the body as it is pretty much. I don't want it to look completely mint. I would like to have it looking a bit like a barn find that is working, or at least just a nice worn Mehari, because I think it looks best that way. That's just my opinion. But I don't really like the look of this though, because it is supposed to be an orange Mehari. Then someone painted it red, and then someone painted it white. I would like to try to remove this paint and get back to the orange stuff. The Mehari is made of ABS plast. The color goes all the way through. It's not a paint, it's actually the material itself that got that color. So I think I could maybe remove the paint one way or another. Maybe I could sand it, but that would be way too difficult. What I would like to try today is to use a bit of acetone on a corner to try to remove the paint. It's not necessarily the best way to do it, because acetone actually dissolves ABS plastic. But maybe that's okay to just dissolve it a little bit and then the paint is away. So I'm just going to try on a corner. If it doesn't work, then I will have to think what to do. Maybe I could use something called brown soap. It's called brun sæbe or brown soap in Danish. I don't know the English term for that, but that is really effective for removing paint on wooden furniture. Maybe it could do it on this one as well. I don't know, but let's try with some acetone. If this works, I will wait until a good, nice summer day to go outside to do this with a mask and all that, and gloves and so on. Right now I'm just testing, so it doesn't really matter. Remember, this is the stuff that people who wear nail polish use to remove it. So it's a common smell inside homes who use that kind of stuff, which is pretty unbelievable in my opinion, because it's rather dangerous stuff actually. Yeah, it is doing something, but not a lot. So maybe that won't work. Do you have any ideas for this? I think a lot of it could actually be pressure washed off, but not all of it. So I'm gonna try some other methods along the way. If nothing works, then maybe I will just have it as it is. But I would like to at least go to the orange paint. That would be nice. But this is it. The rear axle is back. It's actually not back on the car because this is a completely new chassis, but it's on the chassis. First real step on the new chassis. The rear axle rebuilt, painted, new bearings. All bearings are changed. New brake line and new brake cylinders on the wheels. Nothing else than that, but it moves freely and nicely now. That's good. The thing you can hear is the brake line. It needs to be attached with those brackets. So this is great. Next step will be the front axle. I will do pretty much the same to that one. I'm not going to sandblast the middle part because we got the steering rack in there. I don't want all the sand in there. So I'm just going to clean it up with a wire brush and paint it. But more on that in the next video on this project. Thank you for watching. Remember, you can support me on Patreon if you like. And see you in the next one.